really love this because it was just so easy to get started with this. So you open it up. Comes with the instructions, which are very easy to read. They're very clear, very concise. And it's really important that you read these before you try any new device. Couple pieces here. This is the adapter. Wait till you see how easy this is to set up. And even a couple of electrodes. This unit does several things, and I'm going to be talking about that in a little bit. And this will help with some of that setup. Here we have the controller. Nice styrofoam container here that helps hold it in place. Going to take that out just like that. So there, that was simple enough. You really don't have to do a lot of work in regards to, piecing things together or putting them in place. Really easy to do. Here's the controller. We have a couple ties here holding everything in together. We've got one more over here. I was really impressed. When I first took a look at this device online, I thought it'd be a little bit bulky, but it's not. It's really a low-profile device, very easy to take with you wherever you go, and very well made, very solid device, and very professionally made. So here it is. And let me just talk a little bit about, what it does first of all. If you take a look right here, it looks like you would lay your head in this direction, but you don't. We're going to do a demonstration pretty soon on how to get into the device. This device does several things. It helps with neck tightness. It helps with headaches. People with herniated and bulging discs can even find some benefit from this. Now, one thing you need to know about the neck is that it needs to move. A stiff neck will get stiffer and become more painful. So neck movement is very, very important. I'm a huge advocate of that. I'm a huge advocate of doing traction of the neck, making the neck a little bit longer and taking pressure off of the discs and the nerves that get compressed and all the joints that get compressed, because gravity is pushing down on you constantly. And your head weighs 10 to 12 pounds and is always pushing down. We always have this tendency to kind of droop forward, and then we lose this nice curve in our neck. So this device is really great at obtaining a better curve there. So if you're laying on your back with your head over here, this part of the device is going to push up and also bring you into a position of traction that is going to help open up the spine a little bit and relieve the joints and take pressure off the discs and take some pressure off of the nerves. But one of the things I noticed as soon as I got into it is how comfortable it was. Your neck sits right here. You have a nice silicone pad, and you'll notice that there are these two little metal electrodes. They're very smooth. So this device not only gives you a little bit of traction and moves your neck, but it has a heating element in it that heats and warms your neck beautifully and really quickly. And then these two electrodes offer some electrical stimulation. So electrical stimulation can be very helpful at decreasing pain and decreasing spasm. So it's really a 3-in-1 device, which is great because to set this up in a physical therapy office, you're tied to a machine that's tied to wires with a very large hot pack. And then to get the traction and the mobility all at the same time is very difficult to do. So this is definitely going to be in my practice, and I'm going to be using this with patients on a regular basis because I was so happy with how it worked when I used it on myself. Safety first though. If you are thinking of purchasing this unit, the unit's about $299, very well worth it. But if you have electric devices in your body, such as a pacemaker, defibrillator, you want to be cautious because this does offer some electrical stimulation. Now, you don't need to use the electrical stimulation part of this to get the benefit from it. So if I were to say there was a con to this or a weakness to this product, it's that people with these electronic devices are not able to use it. If you have skin sensitivity or easy skin breakdown, maybe you have diabetes or even a heart condition, you definitely should be consulting with your healthcare provider to get their opinion on if this is something that you should try or not. I've tried it. I've tried it on my wife. It's a very, very safe device, and it can be used in several modes. So the next thing I want to talk about is this little controller right here. It's great. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in just so that you can take a look at how this works. And then we're actually going to put this on my wife and give it a run. When we first got the first one, I tried it out first. And it's great because it runs for 15 minutes and then it turns itself off. I almost fell asleep in it. And many people who use hot packs will burn themselves, and I had this happen to a patient just recently. They burn themselves because they fall asleep on the hot pack, and it caused a burn. The nice thing about this is the heat doesn't get that hot, and it turns itself off after 15 minutes. So very safe in that sense. There, so you plug it in, and it comes on. You can see that right here. We have our power button that changes colors, kind of interesting. And this is our controller. So if you take a good look at the controller, it's really easy. Here's an on and off button. It comes on, and when you take a look at this, it has several modes to it, okay? So it has a heating mode, it has a traction mode, and it also has the electrical stimulation mode. So it comes up automatically at 15 minutes, as you can see on the center right here. And so that it's ready to go and ready to get started. So there's also an automatic mode on this. So if you wanted to just jump in and get going, then it would be as simple as just hitting the auto mode. It'll give you a little heat, a little light stimulation, and it'll do some massaging to your neck and stretch your neck and really feel comfortable. So let's just do a little demonstration of what this looks like, okay? So there is a bladder underneath here, and that bladder will push up, and it can also help to get that neck into a good position. That will fluctuate on occasion. There are 3 different modes. As you can see, this will also push the neck up a little bit more to get your neck into that extended position, a little more natural, because we want that natural curve of your neck. You'll see it changes positions, so it keeps moving. Remember, we talked about the importance of the neck moving a lot. If you sit at a computer many hours a day and you're just sitting there and you're not moving that neck, those muscles are getting tight, the joints are getting tight, and that can lead to chronic neck pain and a lot of discomfort. Not only will this give you a little bit of relief in the neck, but it can also help relax the shoulders. I know that when I did it, it felt really, really good. So there are 3 different modes in regards to the traction part of the device. An A, a B, or an A and B. Then there's the heat mode. So that's, you hit it right here, and you can see the sensors, the lights show you that the heat mode is on. And it warms up really quickly, and it feels comfortable because it really distributes that heat right where you want it, where you get a lot of muscle tension. You know, most headaches, I don't know if you knew this, but most headaches are caused by muscle tension in the back of the neck. So this is going to be a device that I'm using on most of my patients who have headaches and muscle tension in the back of the neck. So that is the heat mode, and again, there's an A and a B and an AB mode on that. And then there is the electrical stimulation mode. And you have to be on it, and when you do, the pad's already feeling warm right now, and when you're on it and put the electrical stimulation mode on, it will send a little electrical impulse through your skin into the tissue, and you'll feel like a comfortable fuzzy sensation. And there are 12 modes to this one, so you can start really light, which is what I recommend, and work your way up. I tried it all the way, of course, because I'm doing a demonstration on this. I wanted to make sure that it was safe. And From 6 to 12, it's quite aggressive, but there are people out there who don't feel electrical stimulation very well, so you may need to get into those higher numbers. But for a majority of you folks out there, you're probably going to be working from 1 to 6, and that's a very comfortable mode. As you get going a little bit higher with the electrical stimulation, it makes the muscles contract a little bit, so it gives you like a vibration type of sensation. Super comfortable. It's like getting a high-speed massage in your neck. And to be honest with you, after I used it, my wife used it, I jumped right back in it again for another round and again almost fell asleep in it. Super, super comfortable, super safe. So again, you can use this for muscle tension. You can use it for headaches, neck tightness and stiffness, especially if you're doing a job where you're sitting in one position or standing in one position for a long period of time. If you are on a device, on a cell phone or on an iPad or any other tablet of that sort, and you're always looking down, you start to lose that curvature in your spine. So this is really going to help to get that curvature back. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to pause for a second, and we are going to do a demonstration on my wife so that you can see how this actually works on somebody and how easy it is to set up. So just hang on for just a minute. Okay, so we're going to do a little demonstration, and I have my lovely wife Beth here who graciously volunteered to be my subject today. And this is very easy. When you get into the machine, you put your head on the longer part, and just where the little symbol is, where the power button is, you want to put your head on that. So that's a good way to remember which position to get into. It's very important that you pull the hair away from the electrodes right over here so that you have nice contact to the skin. Okay, it's also important that you take off any jewelry, so if you could take your earrings off so they don't get stuck in the machine. Necklaces should come off also. Thank you. And I always start off really simply by doing one thing at a time, especially when you first get started, okay? So the first thing you need to do is just go ahead and turn the power on, and the buttons are really clear on the controller. It automatically sets it for 15 minutes. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the cervical traction part, okay? So if you just hit the little traction button once, it'll start you off on the first level. You'll notice how the machine starts to push her up a little bit. And that helps to open up the neck some and bring it into a little bit of a curvature. But now you'll see the second part of this push her up a little bit more right here. And you can see how that increases that extension. It's going to come down in just a little bit in a couple slow segments. Very relaxing, and that's going to do it over several repetitions as she does this. Now what I would do is I would encourage you to start with some heat, because that heat really feels good. It dissipates the pressure throughout the neck. So you just hit the little flame button on the controller once, and it starts you on the first level of heat. When that happens, the lights come on. It shows you that the heat mode is on. And it takes just a few seconds for the heat to start to kick in as the traction continues to do its thing. It's super important that you try to relax as much as you can while you're in the unit, because if you're really tense and you're trying to fight it, it's going to be difficult for the machine to do what it needs to do. But you'll notice after you go through a couple rounds, you're really going to relax nicely. The other way to relax even more is to make sure that the lights are dimmed a little bit. And I have a foam roller underneath her knees so that her knees are a little bit bent, and that takes a pressure off the spine and really relaxes you a lot more. If you don't have a roller, a pillow would be just as good. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to have you turn on the electrical stimulation part of it, okay? So the little electrical impulses, you just hit that button once and it turns it on. There are 12 modes to this, and there's a positive button and a negative button. I always encourage that you start on number 1 and you feel that little tingling sensation. If you feel like you can tolerate a little more than that, you can hit the plus button a couple times and you'll feel that little tingling, pulsating type sensation in the base of your neck. And so now she has a combination of the traction, the motion, heat, and the electrical impulses in the neck. And you just kick back, relax, enjoy. If you don't feel like setting all of these things up individually, you can simply push the auto button. So I'll have you do that, and it turns everything else off. And it just goes into an automatic mode where it will do a combination of different types of stim, different types of pressure, and it'll also give you the heat at the same time. It just takes you through a variety of routines